I'm Joan Clark.
And I'm Cal Clark.
We started Clark's Corvair Parts in 1973, moving out of our house and started these buildings in 1979.
We're doing this video tour, but if you're ever in the Shelburne Falls, Massachusetts area, please stop by and have a personal tour. Clark's Corvair Parts is located on Route 2, also known as the Mohawk Trail. We're about 120 miles west of Boston and about 10 miles south of the Vermont border. We started our first building in 1978, moving in 1979. Before the end of that year, we had started Building 2 and also Building 3. This is the west end of Building 1. This is Building 7. This is our smallest building. Our buildings are numbered by the year they were built, not their location on the property. This one's mainly for bulk storage. It also houses the trailer that we take to shows and our snowblower. The next building is Building 3. Right above that is Building 4, and above that is our new solar installation. At 80 kW, it's expected to supply 30 to 40% more electricity than we need. The farthest building up the hill is Building 6. The next building is Building 5, where we do our printing. And this was the last building we built, Building 8. This is our largest building and was finished in 1992. Let's take a look inside. Here you're looking down a 110-foot aisle of used parts. Those rows go back in 12 feet. This building's mainly for bulk storage. Cardboard boxes, large shipments of parts. Way on the back wall, we store our catalog. This is another view of it. The pallets go up 18 feet. Because there's no additional space on this property, we've got to keep everything neat and learn to live with the buildings we now have. We don't sell parts at the door, but if you were coming for a tour, you'd enter in through here. As you come into our entryway, you'll notice a very interesting clock that was made for us by Don Sylvia. We're going to start in aisle 1 in Building 1. When we started 40 years ago, we had 150 parts coming from probably 6 different suppliers. At that point, we decided to start numbering at C1, but none of us can remember whether C1 stood for Clark or Corvair. The ordering process has changed quite a bit in 40 years. When we started, probably 85% of our orders were by mail. 15% were by phone. Now approximately 35% of our orders come over the internet. Approximately 50% are by phone, and about 15% mail or fax. We can send you samples of nearly everything that we produce ourselves, and these are some of the shelves that have all the samples. These are sets of fuel lines, coil springs down at the bottom. There's no real sequence other than the part number sequence. As the part numbers were added, you might have a t-shirt next to a rubber grommet, next to an engine part, next to a shock absorber, next to a heater hose. Because our order takers also pull orders and pack orders, the order taking areas are in various places within the building.
Yeah. It is. What would you like to use?
Nadine has worked for us for 26 years.
Okay, whenever
Here
you're
she's
ready,
training
whenever.
another person who's actually taking an order live right now. We're now on the second floor. And even more shelves on the second floor. Brake lines and gas lines. You can probably guess what's on the third floor. Yes, 200 more shelves. We're now in Building 2. Building 2 is where all the deliveries come, and Cheryl has to open each box, determine what company it came from, and assign our part number. Half of Building 2 is for receiving parts. The other part is for making our kits. This is the section where engine gaskets are put together. We have thousands of kits. We consider a kit anything that we have to put several parts together and sell it as one part number. So in this building we have nuts, bolts, screws, bushings, gaskets, washers, anything at all that goes into a kit that we produce. We run our whole business on a max-min system. Every single part number, and if you consider the bolts and nuts and screws and all the other parts, we probably have close to 25,000 part numbers in our system, so that when the inventory gets down to a minimum amount, we'll know to order. Every night the computer checks all the kits, all the parts, and the next day we'll print out anything that we need to assemble as kits, and it tells people that do the ordering that they need to order from a particular supplier. We currently have over 500 suppliers that we buy from. We'll now take a look at how a kit is actually assembled. The computer does a printout that shows us how many kits we need and exactly what goes into them. The person making the kit gets all the parts out. In this case, we're doing carburetor kits, and carburetor kits we usually do about 800 a year. You start with the instructions. Add a few more parts, add a few more parts, and then put them in the envelope. No matter which order taker takes the order, they are all printed out at this printer. Once the orders come off the printer, they're sorted out depending on how they are going to get shipped, if they're a rush, if they have to go to the other buildings, or if they've got to wait for parts to come from another building. No conveyor systems here. Once an order is pulled, it makes its way down towards the packing room. We get a tremendous variety of orders. There may be an order with trim, maybe an order with coil springs, may have both in the same order. Once your order makes it to packing, we've got 50 different boxes to choose from, and the person has to decide exactly the best way to pack it. We normally ship either UPS or post office. This is the final packing side of the room. Here they enter the order number, process the credit card, and do the final sealing and attaching of the label.